Abierta la presente sesión extraordinaria del Consejo Permanente, convocada a petición de la Misión Permanente de Santa Lucía, de conformidad con los artículos 14 del Estatuto y 37 del Reglamento, con el propósito de recibir al excelentísimo señor Alva Baptiste, Ministro de Relaciones Exteriores, Comercio Internacional, Aviación Civil y Asuntos de la Diáspora de Santa Lucía. De acuerdo con el artículo 43 del reglamento, presento a la consideración del Consejo Permanente el proyecto de orden del día que está contenido en el documento CP/OD-2482/24. No veo que haya objeciones, así que procedemos a su aprobación. Queda aprobado. Y el próximo punto, entonces, es la alocución del Ministro de Relaciones Exteriores de Santa Lucía, para lo cual aguardamos que ingrese a la sala. Excelencia, distinguidos colegas, en nombre del Consejo Permanente extiendo nuestra más cordial bienvenida al Ministro de Relaciones Exteriores, Comercio Internacional, Aviación Civil y Asuntos de la Diáspora de Santa Lucía, Ministro Baptiste, como representante permanente de Argentina y en mi calidad de Presidente del Consejo Permanente de la Organización de los Estados Americanos, es un verdadero honor para mí darle la bienvenida a la Casa de las Américas. Tiene usted el uso de la palabra.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair of the Permanent Council and Permanent Representative of Argentina, His Excellency Daniel Raimondi, Secretary General Luis Almagro, Permanent Representative of St. Lucia to the OAS, Her Excellency Elizabeth Darius Clark, Permanent Representatives, Alternate Representatives, Permanent Observers, staff of the OAS Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen. It always brings me immense pleasure to be in the House of the Americas. I feel that it's my natural habitat. As my country celebrates its 45th anniversary of independence next week, February 22nd, 2024, I bring to you a message which is charged with invaluable significance and which is the cornerstone of the work of this organization, the maintenance of democracy and peace in our hemisphere. We must guard them jealously. Chair, I have the unsurpassed glory of addressing this august body at a time when truly we celebrate independence from alien rule, under the theme, Du vent ensemble, building a nation through unity, resilience, and creativity. For those who are not familiar with the Creole language, Du vent ensemble translates to moving forward together, thus emphasizing the importance of unity of our people in navigating the turbulence of the contemporary global political environment in attaining a prosperous nation. As many of you may be aware, St. Lucia has a very colorful history. From the 1600s up until 1814, when the French ceded St. Lucia to the British, St. Lucia shifted ownership between French and British rule 14 times. The British won 7 times, and the French, they won 7 times. And at the 11th hour, the French decided to cede St. Lucia, this beautiful island, to the British. This is our colonial history, one characterized by persistent war over ownership of our fair Helen. Yet in spite of this very troublesome history of bondage and exploitation, St. Lucians stood in the breach, girded their loins, fought for and secured independence in 1979. Since then, we have managed to remain a peaceful and relatively successful country, whose economy and society continue to evolve in such a manner as to afford the opportunity to all our citizens a credible chance to strive for and achieve a high and sustainable quality of life. This and several other core national development objectives, such as good public health and education services, access to clean water and sustainable energy, national and citizen security, community development, and a balanced and equitable economic growth have all been built on the platform of a respect for and committed maintenance of the core aspects of democracy. To be sure, the fact that St. Lucia, and for that matter, all of the countries in the CARICOM region are able to boast of our solid democratic records is a testament to the fact that irrespective of the spectrum of challenges which we face, we continue to invest the sanctity of human and individual rights and freedoms. The right to individual choice and association, the freedom of speech and movement, to own and enjoy property, the important and unabridged responsibility to choose our governments and political managers of state as we deem fit through free and fair elections. And ultimately, the right to life and livelihood unencumbered by unfair, unreasonable, and or unconstitutional encroachment by the state are but the core elements on which we continue to agree to construct a modern society and civilization. In this regard, over the years, we have seen it as both necessary and strategic to join with other countries and indeed institutions at the regional and multilateral levels to build an international coalition of the like-minded in support of the noble objectives of promoting, entrenching, and sustaining a robust and present practice of democracy in this hemisphere and elsewhere. Chair, I can boldly say, without any fear of contradiction from this space and within these halls, that notwithstanding the numerous instances of challenge to the type of the perfect democracy we aspire to, and there have been many, we, the countries of this hemisphere, have been able to protect the basic tenet of freedom. For this and more, we should feel a sense of accomplishment as states whose commitment is to protecting the rights and freedoms of our respective peoples, remain strong and abiding. Ultimately, of course, democracy is but a mere fleeting experience if it is not about the people from whom we as manager of the state get our authority. I dare say, fellow patriots, free and fair election is a mere symptom of democracy. True and real democracy is to test negative for the misuse and abuse of power, or conversely, testing positive for the wise and frugal use of power given by the mandate of free and fair elections. Effective leadership and collective effort are the fuels of true and real democracies. Therefore, as policymakers, we need to acknowledge the critical role of the citizenry in the attainment of the democracy that we seek. As we strive to protect and defend the ideals and dynamism of democracy, but even in light of all of this, Mr. Chair, it must be repeated that the practice of democracy requires our continuous attention, and much like any ideal, ideology, or dream, it will not survive if it is not maintained, nourished, and jealously guarded. When we as an organization stand united in our quest towards defending democracy, there is nothing that cannot be accomplished. In this light, I must recognize all representatives here for the leadership shown in guiding Guatemala out of what could have been democratic turmoil. The work that member states have done towards the peaceful transition of power in Guatemala must be commended. It is always within our sphere of competence to address issues in a mature and cerebral fashion. The famous British philosopher, whose classical treatise underwrites the modern-day system of representative government we currently practice, though himself a self-confessed idealist, nonetheless recognized that democracy could claim an existence in perpetuity. Rather, he and other exponents opined that a constant and dedicated guardianship of democracy and representative government requires all citizens and institutions to not only practice, but ultimately protect the very system of freedoms we cherish. In this regard, it is not without credibility to say, as we come to this place to renew our commitment to our democratic traditions, that democracy across this hemisphere and the world as a whole is under severe threat. Yes, you might say that threat and challenges to the practice of democracy are nothing new. And surely history is replete with examples of where we as a people have been able to face down and defeat such threats. But you, like me, can also concede that today the very foundations of democracy are being challenged, not only from within, as has mostly been the case in the past, but now also from without, due to the seeming inattentiveness of global policymakers and institutions to boldly and definitively address some of the biggest crises we face. And of crisis do I speak? I speak of the crisis at the international level, where the failure of the powerful nations among us to accept responsibility to correct both historical and current global socioeconomic imbalances between states threatens to create a chasm between developed and developing countries and their peoples. Whether it is in determining how to treat, dealing with the issues of fallout from the climate crisis, the uneven distribution of investment, job creation, and economic accumulation between nations, or in correcting historical imbalances caused by the blight of slavery and colonialism and apartheid through a system of very important justice. Of those ancestors who suffered mightily under the yoke, to ensuring that a level and fair playing field is created and maintained between countries, such that each citizen of the world can exercise their right to exist and live in peace and security. Then democracy, I say, is moving from a state of challenge to a position of crisis. I speak of a crisis that is revealing its ugly presence in our midst, either due to political convenience or worse, insensitivity, because we, the leaders of this global system of democracy, choose to turn a blind eye to the tyranny unfolding, and we must give careful and sensible treatment to issues that we believe are far away from our hemisphere, like the developments in Gaza, and of course, the morbid scenario in Haiti. I speak of a crisis of confidence in a system of multilateralism that once held up such hope of cooperation and commitment to the advancement of the global commons, but is now found wanting, even as fortunes of poor and vulnerable developing countries sink under the weight of high debt, low growth, lack of access to concessional financing, high unemployment, mass migration, uncontrolled crime and violence, and even potential physical extinction from the sea level rise and global warming. We all can see year in, year out, the decimating march of the climate crisis across the social, economic, and environmental fabric of our countries. I speak surely of regional and hemispheric system of institutions that, having done so very well during the past decades in managing the bargain of democracy between, among, and within nations in our region, now seemingly stand paralyzed by their own inability to stand firmly behind the very democracy they exist to protect. Mr. Chair, I need not go into any detail on this last observation because the facts are patently obvious. That while we remain hesitant to speak and afraid to act, right in our own backyard, we are letting slip a solemn responsibility to gird our loins and intervene in the most critical crisis of our generation. And while we feel Haiti gets worse, Venezuela remains unresolved, and our other brothers and sisters across the Americas are facing a future of uncertainty, fear, and potential abuse that undermine the character of the democratic tradition of this great region. Mr. Chair, the question therefore is, are we, the practitioners of statecraft, the elected guardians of this fragile ideal of democracy, going to stand idly by and watch as the challenges which confront us become the crises that destroy us? The government and people of St. Lucia, on whose behalf I have the distinct honor to speak in this honorable council, believe that it is our solemn responsibility to fight for the cause of justice and peace, not just in our region, but in this hemisphere and across the entire world. The Guatemalan human rights activist, feminist, and Nobel Peace Prize laureate Rigoberta Menchú once said, and I quote, "Peace cannot exist without justice. Justice cannot exist without fairness. Fairness cannot exist without development. Development cannot exist without democracy. Democracy cannot exist without respect for the identity and worth of cultures and peoples," unquote. we subscribe to and support this view, to the extent that as the descendants of a people who have suffered the indignities of bondage, but who are equally the inheritors of the fruits of many decades of struggle, know only too well that what we enjoy today can easily be lost if we fail to protect, nourish, and jealously guard what we have. And the bedrock of what we have, the platform on which the political, social, and economic gains on which a modern St. Lucia has been built, is that of a strong and unshakable commitment to the practice of democracy. Throughout the years since independence, St. Lucia has had to balance its socio-economic development and prosperity against the onslaught of numerous external demands, external shocks, and existential threats. From the unbalanced yoke of globalization, in which the spectrum of benefits seemingly go to the more advanced economies and the fallout of the vulnerable economies, to the impact of a climate crisis to which our contribution is minimal, but the fallout maximum, or the clearly disproportionate impact of the wars, pandemics, and global economic readjustments that have triggered our countries and citizens, we continue to manage in difficult and dangerous times. We continue to navigate a global political environment which is pregnant with the seeds of our country's continued marginalization. But manage we have, and today we continue to stand strong in the breach. Why? Because we have chosen and sworn a solemn commitment to the protection and advancement of democracy within our country and across the world. And just as we have done for ourselves, so too must we for and with our brothers and sisters in this hemisphere. As such, today St. Lucia reaffirms its commitment to the inter-American system, to those institutions which we have together worked with so diligently over the years to build up, expand, and entrench as the practice of democracy in this region. We are the guardians of the rights and freedoms of all our people. So we absolutely reconfirm our support for this Organization of American States, its councils and committees, as the agents and agencies who operate on the front line of the struggle to ensure that all of our citizens can live a life free of the fear of tyranny, abuse, and disposition, and build societies in which equity, good governance, and sustainable livelihoods are seen as the rule rather than the exception. Mr. Chair, in recommitting to these causes, we believe that it is absolutely critical that this organization, with its long and rich history as a broker for peace and a champion for justice in this hemisphere, stands up and lead the regional effort to nip and all challenges to the sustainability of our democratic system in the bud. The time for fence-sitting, wishing for the best outcome, or just turning a blind eye to the presence of action and actors who do not wish our democracies well is over. We must all recommit ourselves to fight for the rights and freedoms of our people, just as we must, out of necessity, lead the efforts at ensuring citizen security and safety, free and fair elections, freedom of speech, the enjoyment of private property and the press, the elimination of corruption, and the equitable distribution of the gains of national output. Nothing worth having is won without a fight or without effort. We in St. Lucia know this only too well, Mr. Chairman. We are also well aware that any system or organism left unattended and undernourished will fall into disrepair and ultimately disappear from existence as it withers and dies. I close with the words of the poet Nikolai Ostrovsky. And I quote, "Man's dearest possession is life. It is given to him but once, and he must leave it so as to feel no torturing regrets for wasted years, never know the burning shame of a mean and petty past, so live that dying he might say, all my life, all my strength were given to the finest cause in all the world, the fight for the liberation of mankind. Let it not be said that we, who are now charged with the responsibility of maintaining our fragile systems of democracy and development, fail our people in the greatest hour of need. A threat to one remains a threat to all." Muchas gracias. Merci. Thank you very much.
Su Excelencia, muchísimas gracias por sus palabras, especialmente por su renovado compromiso con los ideales y principios que inspiran y guían a nuestra organización, en particular en estos momentos en que enfrentamos enormes desafíos y severas crisis en distintas partes del mundo que ponen en tela de juicio los valores de la democracia, de los derechos humanos, el respeto a la diversidad entendida en su sentido más amplio, así como la seguridad y el desarrollo integral en beneficio de nuestros pueblos. Ofrezco la palabra a las delegaciones que quieran intervenir y tengo ya solicitudes, empezando por el representante permanente de Antigua y Barbuda. Por favor, adelante.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Minister, I am especially honored to welcome you to this special session of the Permanent Council as we approach the momentous occasion of St. Lucia's 45th anniversary of independence from Britain, notwithstanding the other 7 victories of France. I vividly recall the mixed feelings of accomplishment and uncertainty that pervaded both the leadership and the people of St. Lucia at that pivotal time in 1979. The journey towards independence, marked by the daunting challenge of assuming full responsibility for state affairs, including defense and security, and notably the task of financing those responsibilities, was formidable. Yet the leadership of St. Lucia wisely chose a path of independence within a framework of interdependence. Consequently, St. Lucia became a founding member of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, a pioneering initiative where several countries opted to share critical institutions like a common central bank, a single currency, and a joint judiciary, which would have been prohibitive expenses for any single island to establish alone. I had at that time the distinct pleasure of contributing to the creation of the OECS and living and working in the beautiful island of St. Lucia as part of that groundbreaking effort. The OECS today stands as a shining example of regional integration, achieving remarkable levels of unity, including the freedom of movement of people, thus bolstering independence and democracy in the sub-region. Over the past 45 years, St. Lucia has constructed robust physical and social infrastructures, which you described earlier, a testament to the resilience of a small island state determined to overcome global challenges, including adverse trade conditions, limited access to development financing, and the intensifying impacts of climate change, to which St. Lucia has been one of the greatest victims. Despite these hurdles, your country is courageously tackling modern challenges, such as the rise in crime and gang violence, with commendable resolve. And Minister, as you so eloquently pointed out this morning, St. Lucia, like the majority of other CARICOM countries, is a bastion of democracy that protects human rights and freedoms and does so relentlessly. The island's intellectual contributions, evidenced by Nobel laureates Professor Sir Arthur Lewis in economics and poet Derek Walcott in literature, underscore the rich intellectual heritage and potential of the St. Lucian people. This reinforces the solid intellectual foundation of St. Lucia and the capacity of its people to sustain the progress achieved since independence. Minister, you've aptly highlighted the challenges and threats that St. Lucia faces in today's world. Rightfully, you seek not charity, not a hand out, but a hand up from the international community to support St. Lucia in maintaining its vibrant democracy, which champions human rights for all, including the pursuit of social justice and greater global equity. And as you rightly say, the foundation for such prosperity and progress lies in an international legal and humanitarian system that must be continuously upheld, strengthened, and expanded, even in the face of current challenges, particularly in resisting authoritarianism and tyranny and threats that threatens the territorial integrity of other states. We are grateful, Minister, for your reminding this Council and the organization of the critical importance of fairness, justice, and equity as fundamental elements in ensuring global stability and progress, and to counter the threats to democracy. And we are particularly grateful for your stoutful advocacy of democracy here this morning. Thank you very much for your insightful address.
Thank you, Ambassador. Tiene la palabra el representante permanente de Guyana, por favor.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the Guyana delegation, on its own behalf, and as Chair of the CARICOM Caucus, is pleased to join the members of the Permanent Council in welcoming the Honourable Alva Baptiste, Minister for External Affairs, International Trade, Civil Aviation, and Diaspora Affairs of St. Lucia, and in receiving his address, which informed us of St. Lucia's upcoming anniversary milestone. The steps that have been taken towards development, despite national, hemispheric, and global challenges, and the need for the expansion, maintenance, and protection of democracy in the region to bring peace, prosperity, and stability to the people of the Americas. On the 22nd of February, 1979, the people of St. Lucia took the bold and decisive step of self-governance. Since then, the hemisphere has borne witness to the political, social, and economic growth and development of St. Lucia, a country with a strong democratic tradition and a record of promoting human rights and civil liberties. Like many of the countries here, I am aware that St. Lucia faces very specific challenges, and it is therefore incumbent upon us in the OAS, as much as we can, to serve as a safety net which bolsters and fosters development in alignment with the democratic values and principles which underpin this organization. The need for stability in the region must serve as the thread for that net, a task that we can only achieve by working together and taking each other along as we progress. This remains crucial for each of our countries, from the largest to the smallest, the most developed to the least developed. You have touched, Honourable Minister, on the critical situation faced in our sister nation of Haiti. We must act expeditiously and provide the framework and support needed so that the people of Haiti can find a pathway to restoration of order, citizen security, the exercise of democratic processes, and stability. I take this opportunity to thank you, Honourable Minister, and to extend to you, the government and people of St. Lucia, our warm congratulations and best wishes on the occasion of your 45th independence anniversary. Departing from my script, I take this opportunity to observe what previous speaker has done, that this small country of St. Lucia has given to the world 2 Nobel laureates, an economist of great importance, Sir Arthur Lewis, and our poet, Derek Walcott. It is our resolve to further provide the community of support necessary for the building up of a sister small island developing state through enhanced regional and bilateral cooperation based on the foundation of greater understanding, mutual respect, and lasting friendship, which have characterized our relations over the years. I thank you.
Gracias, embajador. La palabra a la representante permanente de México.
Gracias, señor presidente. La delegación de México saluda con especial afecto al canciller de Santa Lucía, ministro Alva Baptiste, cuyo mensaje y presencia en este Consejo Permanente es reflejo de la importancia que su país otorga a la agenda interamericana. México le extiende una sincera felicitación al pueblo y gobierno de Santa Lucía por la celebración de su independencia que permitió la construcción soberana de su propio destino y fortaleció su compromiso con la integración del Caribe, como lo muestra el establecimiento en Castries de la sede de la Organización de Estados del Caribe Oriental. Santa Lucía es tierra de personas valiosas e ilustres que se esfuerzan por alcanzar una vida mejor. Quiero destacar de manera especial a los 2 premios Nobel santalucenses, el escritor Derek Walcott, Premio Nobel de Literatura 1992, y a Arthur Lewis, Premio Nobel de Economía 1979. México y Santa Lucía celebraremos el próximo 17 de mayo el 45 aniversario del establecimiento de relaciones diplomáticas, en las que hemos profundizado la relación de amistad, diálogo y cooperación que se fortalece constantemente a través de nuestra embajada en Castries y mediante diversos proyectos de cooperación que hemos desarrollado a lo largo de los años en sectores agrícolas, de la salud, infraestructura, educación, seguridad y becas, que entre otros incluye la construcción de una estación de agua potable en Beren. En la Asociación de Estados del Caribe, México ha tenido una participación sólida y sostenida para ampliar el diálogo político y la cooperación para el desarrollo con los países del Gran Caribe del que México forma parte. Abrimos una embajada en Guyana para fortalecer nuestra relación con la comunidad del Caribe y fortalecer nuestro diálogo político y cooperación. Nuestra cooperación ha beneficiado directamente a las personas y ha estrechado nuestra relación política bilateral. En el ámbito interamericano trabajamos fortaleciendo agendas comunes que privilegien el bienestar de las personas, respeten la soberanía de los estados y promuevan la igualdad y la justicia social para asegurar una vida digna para todas las personas. Bienvenido, señor canciller, y los mejores deseos de México para su querida patria. Gracias, presidente.
Gracias a usted, embajadora. La palabra le toca a la representación permanente de Grenada, por favor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I would like to thank His Excellency Alva Baptiste, Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs of St. Lucia, for your stirring and moving message this morning. This is indeed as good a place as any to highlight the importance of independence and democracy within our region, and of emphasizing the pivotal role of the OAS in advancing democratic principles in our hemisphere and beyond. Your discourse, sir, deeply resonates with us. Of course, Grenada supports the ideals and principles articulated, and as we've reiterated in numerous occasions within this walls, Grenada, both in policy and in practice, remains steadfast to its support of the principles of democracy as a necessary condition for peace, security, and progress within our region. This, within your message, falls squarely on our shoulders and meets with our support. This year, Grenada commemorates its 50th anniversary of independence, and we share in February, we share the month with St. Lucia for this commemoration. You have a theme which says and works towards the building a nation through unity, resilience, and creativity. A devant ensemble. And we have a theme, one people, one journey, one future. The proximity, the commonality, the similarity of our history, of our people, of our journey, is one which allows us today to not only congratulate St. Lucia on the observance, the commemoration of your 45th anniversary of independence, but to say how privileged we are to be within the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States with St. Lucia as a major sister, a major player, a major partner. It is well known that Grenada has experienced different forms and experimented with a form of democracy distinct from that of most of our CARICOM neighbors. And in fact, between the period of 1979 and 1983, experimented with a people's revolutionary government, a populist type of democracy, which came into place not through the electoral process. So we have had the experience of both the non-electoral and the electoral process to democratic governance. With this, we do have a lot of experience that we share. But after 1983, returned to democratic existence and governance through the electoral process, and steadfast with you, St. Lucia, are committed to the democratic process as we practice and the representation of our peoples in an integrated way. Today, amidst regional concerns regarding the threat to electoral integrity, Grenada takes pride in its resilient democratic system characterized by regular peaceful elections and bolstered by transparent voter registration system, one which we share in the OECS with your own systems and your own efforts. Your presence and representation here, Honourable Minister, is also an opportunity to underscore before the OAS the correctness of persisting in its vital role of support to the upholding and nurturing of democratic governance. This you have mentioned and emphasized in no small way. The presence of the OAS Electoral Observer Mission during our respective elections recently underscores the significance of this international cooperation in ensuring the peace and ensuring the peace, to ensuring the democracy and its role in our countries. Again, I express thanks and appreciation for the words, Excellency Alva Baptiste, for this very timely and pertinent message to our OAS colleagues. I thank you.
Muchas gracias. A palavra corresponde agora à delegação do Brasil. Embaixador, por favor.
Muito obrigado, senhor presidente. Agradeço ao ministro dos Negócios Estrangeiros de Santa Lúcia, senhor Alva Baptiste, por seu importante e necessário discurso. O Brasil compartilha laços tradicionais e históricos de amizade e de cooperação com o Caribe em geral E nossas relações com Santa Lúcia, em particular, foram beneficiadas pela instalação da Embaixada Brasileira em Castres, em 2008. Na OEA, temos a oportunidade de cooperar de maneira mais próxima com os nossos irmãos caribenhos na busca de um hemisfério próspero e pacífico. E na busca também de uma OEA de todos os seus membros, em que todos os Estados possam participar ativamente e dar sua contribuição para enfrentar os desafios comuns na nossa região. Brasil e Santa Lúcia compartilham valores democráticos e o compromisso com a promoção dos direitos humanos e do desenvolvimento integral. Também temos cooperado em temas de interesse mútuo, como a promoção da saúde, da segurança alimentar e da educação em nossos países. Exemplo disso foi a doação brasileira, durante a pandemia de Covid-19, de testes, remédios e vacinas para Santa Lúcia. Na área da agricultura e pecuária, nossos países estão negociando prestação de cooperação técnica pelo Brasil em áreas como agroprocessamento e treinamento de agricultores. Na área de educação, tive a satisfação de saber que cidadãos de Santa Lúcia foram a maioria dos estudantes do curso de português que foi disponibilizado pela Universidade Federal do Estado de Maranhão no ano passado. Esperamos que esse interesse pela língua portuguesa possa se estender com a participação futura de estudantes santalucenses no programa de bolsas de graduação voltado ao Caribe, lançado em 2023, com o apoio da Secretaria Executiva de Desenvolvimento Integral da OEA, além, é claro, do já conhecido Programa de Alianças para a Educação e a Capacitação, o PAEC Brasil. Nossa parceria com Santa Lúcia é um reflexo do compromisso do Brasil em fortalecer os laços com nossos vizinhos do Caribe e em contribuir para a construção de um mundo mais justo e sustentável. Nesse espírito de aproximação e colaboração entre o Brasil e o Caribe, o presidente Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva já anunciou sua intenção de comparecer à cúpula do CARICOM deste ano, na Guiana. Juntos, podemos enfrentar os desafios que se apresentam em construir um futuro melhor para todos os nossos cidadãos. Nossos parabéns também a Santa Lúcia pelo aniversário, 45º aniversário de sua independência. Muito obrigado.
Muchas gracias. La representación permanente de Estados Unidos, por favor.
Thank you, Chair. It is an honor to welcome Minister Baptiste to Washington, D.C. and to the House of the Americas. My delegation would like to begin by commending Minister Baptiste for his leadership and dedication in advancing St. Lucia's interests on the global stage. The United States cherishes its long-standing and warm relationship with St. Lucia, dating to its independence. We extend congratulations to its delegation here at the OAS as we celebrate the 45th anniversary of your country's independence next week. Over these nearly 45 years, collaboration between the United States and St. Lucia has strengthened in tangible ways, underpinned by mutual respect and shared objectives. Our partnership encompasses crucial areas such as security cooperation. In particular, St. Lucia's active participation in the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative reflects our joint effort to combat transnational crime and narcotics trafficking and safeguard shared interests in the Americas. Through initiatives like the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs Program and the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative Fellowship, we are also working to empower the next generation of leaders in St. Lucia by fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. We also welcome St. Lucia's consistent participation in the Americas Competitiveness Exchange, or ACE, an initiative financed by the US government and implemented by the OAS that brings together leaders from the region and beyond to collaborate, form partnerships, and increase economic development in the Americas. The United States is proud to support St. Lucia's climate adaptation and clean energy priorities. As we all confront the existential threat of climate change, collaboration through initiatives like the U.S. Caribbean Partnership to Address the Climate Crisis, or PAC 2030, is paramount. Together, we can mitigate the adverse effects of climate change and build a more resilient future for all. And in alignment with our commitment to gender equality and youth empowerment, we are working with St. Lucia to equip girls and young women with the skills and opportunities to thrive in the digital age while combating gender-based violence and discrimination. In conclusion, the United States reaffirms its long-standing partnership with St. Lucia. We look forward to deepening our cooperation, both bilaterally and here at the OAS, for the benefit of our entire hemisphere. Minister Baptiste, your leadership is instrumental in advancing our shared objectives, and we commend St. Lucia's contributions to regional stability and prosperity. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Paso la palabra a la representación permanente de San Vicente y las Granadinas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The Honourable Alva Baptiste, Minister of External Affairs, International Trade, Civil Aviation and Diaspora Affairs of St. Lucia, His Excellency Luis Almagro, Secretary General, the Organization of American States, permanent representatives, permanent observers, alternate representatives, staff of the General Secretariat. Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, before continuing further, I must acknowledge the statement made by the Ambassador of Guyana on behalf of CARICOM delegations, and my delegation naturally supports that statement. Mr. Chairman, I wish to thank Minister Baptiste for gracing us with his presence here today and for delivering such an important address. Also, please permit me to use this opportunity to congratulate the government and people of St. Lucia, who next week will be celebrating 45 years of independence. Indeed, this is a milestone, and congratulations to them. Mr. Chairman, St. Lucia is geographically a close neighbor of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have a common history, and I dare say, close family bonds. And anyone from the south of St. Lucia and the north of SVG will know what I'm talking about. We also have a very good friendship, among others. Mr. Chairman, my delegation is appreciative of the points made by Minister Baptiste during his address regarding democracy. Based upon a number of developments within the hemisphere and around the world, we do know that democracy is fragile. It must be protected, it must be strengthened, it must spread, and it must be deepened. Minister Baptiste made a link during his address, more or less, that democracy is connected to citizen security, peace, a free press, human rights, and most importantly, to development. One important point that we need to take into consideration is that security is multidimensional. Security, development, and other pillars do contribute to democracy. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, political and economic independence, along with the appropriate interdependence through regional integration and the international community or system, are critical in ensuring democracy. However, there must be collaboration with the allies of St. Lucia, but these allies must be genuine in their efforts in ensuring the well-being of St. Lucia. Within the international system, there must be genuine democracy, so as to foster democracy, development, peace, and security. As a close neighbor, fellow OECS and CARICOM brother, Minister, St. Vincent and the Grenadines wishes you, your government, and people the very best. St. Vincent and the Grenadines will always be a friend of St. Lucia, and we will continue to be with you in the trenches as we seek to achieve a better world for all. I thank you.
Gracias, embajador. Por favor, la representación permanente de Guatemala.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Mi delegación se permite saludar al excelentísimo embajador Alva Baptiste, ministro de Relaciones Exteriores, Comercio Internacional, Aviación Civil y Asuntos de la Diáspora de Santa Lucía. Agradecemos su alocución y destacamos su mensaje sobre uno de los pilares fundamentales de esta organización, como lo es la democracia. Señor presidente, como mencionó el embajador Carlos Ramiro Martínez Alvarado ante este Consejo Permanente, la defensa de la democracia en Guatemala es inseparable de la lucha por la democracia a nivel global. Salvaguardar, defender y fortalecer la democracia en Guatemala es tan crucial como lo es en cualquier otra parte del mundo. Y con esa visión, Guatemala se congratula por la celebración de Santa Lucía el próximo 22 de febrero por su 45 aniversario de independencia y reconoce este acto que conmemora su compromiso con la democracia, con la justicia social y el desarrollo de su población. Señor ministro Baptiste y distinguida delegación de Santa Lucía, reciban de Guatemala sus más sinceras felicitaciones y nuestros votos para seguir fortaleciendo nuestros lazos de amistad. Muchas gracias.
Gracias por su intervención. La representación permanente de Costa Rica, por favor, embajadora.
Muchísimas gracias. Buenas tardes a todos. Honorable ministro Alva Baptiste, ministro de Relaciones Exteriores, Comercio Internacional, Aviación Civil y Asuntos de la Diáspora de Santa Lucía, es un honor y un privilegio darle la bienvenida a este Consejo Permanente. Muchísimas gracias por la rica e interesante intervención que nos acaba de compartir. Como naciones comprometidas con la paz, la justicia social y el desarrollo sostenible, Costa Rica y Santa Lucía compartimos valores fundamentales que nos unen en la búsqueda de un futuro más próspero para nuestros ciudadanos. Reconocemos y valoramos el papel crucial que desempeña Santa Lucía en la promoción de la paz, la democracia y la estabilidad en nuestra región. Cuenta con Costa Rica para continuar colaborando estrechamente con ustedes en áreas de interés mutuo como el fortalecimiento de la democracia, el comercio, el turismo, la educación, la protección del medio ambiente y, por supuesto, de nuestro único océano. Creemos firmemente que trabajando juntos podemos lograr avances significativos que beneficien a nuestros pueblos y contribuyan al desarrollo integral de nuestras naciones. Por tanto, le extendemos nuestra más sincera gratitud por su visita y reciba nuestra felicitación también en el marco de la conmemoración de la independencia de Santa Lucía que celebraremos el próximo 22 de febrero. Le aseguramos nuestro compromiso, señor ministro, es un compromiso inquebrantable con la construcción mano a mano de un futuro más próspero y más justo para todos nuestros ciudadanos. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. La representación permanente de Panamá, embajadora, por favor.
Gracias, presidente. La delegación de Panamá tiene el honor de extender un cordial saludo a su excelencia Alva Baptiste, ministro de Relaciones Exteriores, Comercio Internacional, Aviación Civil y Asuntos de la Diáspora de Santa Lucía, y expresamos nuestro sincero agradecimiento por su presencia en esta sesión extraordinaria del Consejo Permanente de la Organización de Estados Americanos. Apreciamos el mensaje que ha compartido con este honorable cuerpo, del cual hemos tomado debida nota. Yo tuve el honor de conocerlo cuando fui a presentar mis credenciales en julio del 2022, convirtiéndome en la segunda embajadora de Panamá ante Santa Lucía. Fui recibida por usted y por el pueblo de Santa Lucía con el cariño y el calor que compartimos, porque venimos de alguna manera de una misma historia. La delegación de Panamá desea aprovechar la oportunidad para resaltar las estrechas relaciones diplomáticas que mantiene con Santa Lucía desde el 10 de julio del 95. Relaciones que se han forjado a lo largo de nuestra historia y se caracterizan por los sólidos vínculos en nuestros pueblos. Es especialmente relevante recordar y honrar el papel desempeñado por los trabajadores de Santa Lucía y el Caribe en la construcción de los ferrocarriles de Panamá y el Canal de Panamá. Su contribución dejó una marca indeleble en la historia y el corazón de nuestras naciones y es un legado que celebramos con orgullo y gratitud. Apreciamos las palabras del canciller Baptiste sobre la importancia de fortalecer la democracia en el hemisferio, en momentos críticos no solo para nuestra región, sino para el mundo. Países pequeños como Panamá y el Caribe Oriental compartimos una idea clara de que está en el cumplimiento del derecho internacional, reglas de convivencia de la comunidad internacional, la fortaleza para un futuro de progreso y avance. Compartimos su visión y reafirmamos nuestro compromiso conjunto de promover y defender los principios democráticos en nuestra región. Y quisiera reiterar nuestro profundo respeto y admiración por Santa Lucía y celebrar junto a Santa Lucía su 45 aniversario de independencia y augurarles un futuro próspero, lleno de oportunidades para su nación, para el cual siempre tendrá el apoyo, el respaldo, la solidaridad de Panamá. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. La representación permanente de Barbados, por favor.
Thank you, Chair. My delegation takes the floor to extend a very warm welcome to the Honourable Alva Baptiste, Minister of Foreign Affairs of St. Lucia, to the halls of America. We thank you for your insightful and eloquent delivery. I also take the opportunity to extend congratulations to the government and people of St. Lucia on the achievement of 45 years of independence, which will be celebrated on February 22nd. Indeed, Barbados and St. Lucia has a very long and very close and warm relations. And as small states, it would be remiss of me not to note that independence has been very hard won for us, and the achievements of this independence requires, as you noted, sir, a vigilance which we must always fight for within this institution here. I also take the opportunity to note that democracy is inextricably linked to development, for without continued development, the gains of democracy, which have been so hard won and fought for, can be easily eroded. Issues that are linked to the climate crisis, security issues, and human rights. To this end, it is critical that the tenets of democracy, which you spoke about, are not only adhered to, but fiercely protected through the continued growth of multilateralism and institutions such as the OAS. On behalf of the government and people of Barbados, I take this opportunity to thank you again and wish you a successful independence. I thank you.
Muchísimas gracias por las intervenciones de todas las delegaciones. Ahora tengo el pedido de nuestro secretario general. Adelante, por favor.
Gracias, señor presidente. Welcome to the House of the Americas, dear Minister or friend. I'm honored to welcome a man of diplomacy, an intellectual and tireless advocate for equality, non-discrimination, and freedom for all. Not to mention an expert in aviation and in dealing with turbulence and strong winds. Firstly, I wish to extend my heartfelt condolences to you, your government, people of St. Lucia, and the passing of your dear countryman, Sir Letton Felix Thomas, an exemplary educator, but most notably a musical talent who composed the music that accompanies your lovely national anthem, Sons and Daughters of St. Lucia. My thoughts are with his family, friends, and loved ones. Minister Baptiste, St. Lucia is a valued contributor to the shared goals of our organization, and its commitment to our central pillars is unwavering. We gather here at the OAS to ensure peaceful understanding among our members. Here, conflicts between our member states are channeled towards a solution, bringing the parties together, proposing pathways to understanding and offering the necessary spaces for dialogue. In this room filled with diverse voices and perspectives, we are reminded of the beauty of unity amidst diversity and unity among pluralism. The strength of communication and collaboration. Your presence here enriches our tapestry, Minister Baptiste. Your presence here also allows us to feel part of the milestones St. Lucia is about to celebrate, 44 years of independence. Congratulations to you, your government, and all St. Lucians for building a nation through unity, resilience, and creativity. This year's theme is one of that we fully endorse here at the OES. Do one and some, which means forward together, as you said. As we look to the past and your government's distinguished efforts to promote consciousness of the country's history and heritage, it is important to mention that we, at the OES, support efforts towards reparatory justice, understanding, and reconciliation. The OES actively works to eliminate racism and intolerance. We support the righting of historical wrongs for people of African descent. It has been central to my mandate to advocate for more rights for more people, an idea I know we share. Looking at the present, I value our strong relationship. The OES is present in St. Lucia, and St. Lucia is present at the OES. You have an extraordinary ambassador, Elizabeth Darius-Clark, who has made most valuable contributions to all of us and the organization. All our secretariats are consistently working in St. Lucia. We have programs and projects developed in St. Lucia working around our main pillars: integral development, democracy, human rights, and multidimensional security. St. Lucians are increasingly benefiting from our scholarships and opportunities. I thank you and your government for your continued support and contributions to the OES, including the donation of the first art pieces from St. Lucia to the Art Museum of the Americas, two works by artist Jalim Aitovich. We are happy to have St. Lucian art enriching our permanent collection. As we look to the future, I look forward to deepening even more our partnership and cooperation. In the face of climate crisis and natural disasters, we understand the situation faced by small islands, developing states, and the need to draw upon St. Lucia resilience with our collective actions and resources. Allow me to congratulate Prime Minister Philippe Pierre for his leadership in sustainable development and climate change, and to emphasize that St. Lucia and other small island developing states are the lowest carbon emitters in the world. By pooling our expertise and resources, we can overcome these challenges and build a more resilient and inclusive future for all. Thank you very much. We highly value this visit, and we highly value the meeting we have had. I can see that you are a man of peace and sincere commitment of peace, to peace, and how war wherever in the world hurt all of us, how deep damages all of us. Peace, democracy, respect of human rights are principles you hold dear and close to you. How we should base this principle in international law, human rights law, and humanitarian law. The obvious aggressions shouldn't be allowed to go on. The powerful shouldn't be allowed to prevail by force according to international law, the rule of law. Peace, justice, development, democracy, justice, all that is very close to our organization. Your presence here renews our hope for regional unity, tolerance, and harmony. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias. Con esto hemos concluido el tratamiento de los temas en nuestro orden del día para esta sesión extraordinaria del Consejo Permanente. Agradecemos nuevamente al ministro Baptiste el honor de haber contado con su presencia y sus palabras. Las presentaciones y comentarios realizados en el día de hoy quedarán registrados en el acta de la sesión. El ministro va a saludar a las delegaciones en esta misma sala. Muchísimas gracias entonces a todos y se levanta la sesión.